The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Tuesday, the 28th day of September, 2021. Welcome to the Daily Hour, brought to you by Macros One Communications and Lindos. I'm Jamal Hartman, along with the Michaela Ian and Leanna Lambert, who will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in her news break. Kales, it's Tuesday. How are you doing? What a heavy Monday in Bermuda.
I'm good today. Yesterday was very heavy. Very heavy. I slept well last night, though. Woke up early. Did my morning routine. So it's the mood is heavy.
Indeed. Definitely a heavy one. We lost some good young people in Bermuda yesterday. Let that not be lost on any of us. And we'll touch on that a bit later. Good morning, everyone. And thanks for making us part of your daily routine. Another good one today as we welcome the Information Commissioner, Gitanjali Gutierrez, on to discuss the Right to Know Day this year. And we'll be discussing more because there's still people that, based on social media at least, they have a lot of questions, and maybe it should be put to Patty, but I'm not quite sure everyone knows how to file a request. So we'll get to that kind of stuff. The daily players will remember when, so a bit of history for Michaela.
So I'll be 2 out of 2.
All right. If that's what you're on,
I shall be 2 out of 2. Thank you very much.
All right. You're not gonna see this question coming. So I think we've got you.
Well, I mean, you thought you had me last week with the question from the lovely Paula Cox, and I knew it.
All right. So, well, we've got you today. You will not see this one coming. You're gonna see. I'm got you on. You're gonna be like, who would know that? I got you. This is easy. We've got you. All right. So
we'll see.
It's like a daily fight, folks.
Listen, banter all day.
Teachable moments too, folks. Hey, look, because I guarantee you, everyone saying it's easy, you didn't know before Michaela gave you the answer. Let's just be honest. But anyway, her brain is just it functions differently than most people. She's an intelligent person. We'll give it to her. But look, let's get into today's conversation. Last week, Friday, the government of Bermuda, and this is key. This is a very, I'm not quite sure people understand the domino effect or the impact of what we're going to discuss this morning. But the government of Bermuda, basically, according to the Royal Gazette, post office to launch online shopping platform. And, well, should I read a bit of the story, Michaela? Or
Go ahead, so we can get some context.
Okay, so according to the RG, I'm reading from the Royal Gazette, an online shopping platform run by Bermuda Post Office could be fully operational by the middle of next month. So according to Ian Furbert, the Minister for the Cabinet Office, he told the House of Assembly it was part of a plan to increase revenues through the expansion of technology and e-commerce. Now, let me stop there. I completely understand the government looking for ways to increase revenue, but increasing revenue while potentially hurting not just those in the mailing space or the courier space, but also local businesses like in retail. I'm not quite sure that making revenue at the expense of your economy makes sense. So therefore, the question of the day, folks, because if this is what the government thinks is business development, I'm sorry. Somewhere, someone is lacking. Somewhere, someone is lacking. The question is, what are your thoughts on the post office launching an online shopping platform? What are your thoughts on Bermuda's government post office launching an online shopping platform?
All right, so I just want to say very quickly, the post office is not modern. Mm-hmm. The post office is not a place I wish to go any day. In fact, I have a package at the post office right now, and I've gotten a final notice in my mailbox because I avoid going to the post office. The reason that I avoid going to the post office is it is slow AF. I wish I could say the words, okay? Slow, A. B, not trying to diss nobody, but I don't generally get pleasant customer service at the post office. I just don't. I don't. And then it's like, oh, the machine isn't working. You have to get cash. Okay, let me walk to the ATM and get cash. It's just too much. It is too much. So when I have a service like DHL, mailboxes who are efficient on it, yeah, I'm going to use that. I'm just saying. So those are my initial thoughts on, oh, the post office wants to do something else. Meanwhile, what are you actually doing that's modern?
Well, I mean, I honestly, I'm actually shocked. I didn't realize. But then again, it's Bermuda, so obviously a lot of people are relying on
it. It's awful. Awful.
Realize so many people still used it. But Terry K says it's too little, too late. To be honest, Kenton Trott says they will probably tell you fax the invoices to them. People still use fax. Shanna Smith says we still have to print off paper receipts. Elizabeth Varel kills.
Honestly, all we want is for the post office to accept digital invoices and offer package delivery options. No one asked for this My US partnership. Everyone already has their preferred courier service. Who is going to change? Going to a post office branch is like traveling back in time. Thank you. Exactly how I feel about it. Exactly.
Yeah. Mishka Fabla, my experiences with the post office has been almost invariably unpleasant. Even if this was a good service, I wouldn't use it.
Nope. Listen, and that's only like the touch of the art. That's only like just this much of it, right? Because we talk about how inefficient the post office is. Like, it's inefficient. I'm just be real. The only time I go is like a friend of mine sent a package for the boys. And honestly, I hope she's not listening, but Tamika, I have not gone to the post office to pick up your package because it's just so inefficient. So we have that, right? Mm-hmm. But also we have the fact that government is now going to make it easier for people to bring in things. Mm-hmm. So basically, you're now going to be direct competition for local businesses. Local businesses are already struggling. They were struggling before COVID. They're struggling as a result of COVID. There are a lot of them that have gotten innovative and all of that. However, doing this is taking away business from local retailers. And in a time when they cannot afford business to be taken away. Like, sure, I can shop on Amazon. Mind you, there are certain things that it's just easier for me to order on Amazon than try to find it. That is what it is, However, I know that there are certain places I can go. If I'm looking for XYZ, I'm going to go get that, small businesses, because I love to shop at small businesses. Yeah. So why are we trying to take money out of their pockets? But why are we trying to limit?
Overall, that's the point that I made out of the blocks. Like for me,
right away,
as a person who, again, doesn't use a post office, the first problem I see is you're pretty much going to eliminate those who are already struggling. That's what I see happening with this. Shanna Smith says government departments not known for being modern or efficient. Can't see how this would be any different.
Listen,
Sam Cat plays kills.
It's sad that they do. It's sad that they do think this expands business development. We already have FedEx, DHL, and mailboxes to name a few. We don't need another platform. What they need is to update their facilities and technology. Exactly. Agree 100%.
Yeah. Elizabeth Varel says, my US isn't even a local company. If anything, why not collaborate with mailboxes or Zipax? It's so strange. And Nikki Smith says, kudos for them for the long overdue change. When we speak of local businesses, I agree, but for different reasons. Well, expand on those reasons if you can, Nikki.
Yeah, I'd love to hear that.
I think we're all in agreement that the post office had to be modernized. Like if it's going to exist, then they had to make changes. However, I'm not quite sure. And folks, let me be very direct with this. I believe that businesses should always find a way to evolve and and be relevant, right? So even if it's government coming from it, I believe that it's not anyone else's responsibility to keep you in business, like it is no one's responsibility to keep you employed. However, when the government controls legislation and policies, right, it's a bit different. Donna Reed says local retail businesses are in a precarious position already, and Angeline Butler kills.
So other mailing companies feel threatened by this new venture. I wonder why. I wonder if that's. I haven't seen anything that says that. But
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they are. But
I mean, at the same time, it's just like if you have a Mailboxes membership or you have a Zipex membership, why on earth would you switch? I'm not going to switch. Mailboxes sends me a text message to let me know my package is here. They send me an email. I go pick it up. It's efficient. Everything is wonderful. Why on earth would I go, let me try out this new service by the post office who can't even accept digital invoices or credit cards? Sure. You know what I mean? Like, how ridiculous does that sound? And so with this, I feel like, yes, we need to modernize the post office. However, this ain't it. Like, baby steps. Like, you don't accept digital invoices. So how are you going to go from I got to bring in a paper invoice to shop with us online? No, like, no.
Manuela John kills.
Really, the situation that the post office is in was a result of the courier services, but people need to be convinced to go back to using the post office. Yeah, no, it's a no for me.
A no for Elizabeth Morales.
It's a no.
I'm definitely not switching. And we have Terry K. She says they don't have anything unique that would draw the customers. Well, so here's the thing, folks. Look, if the government's getting in this business, you have to do more than just exist. Like, what are you going to do to get people over there? Like, you've already seen two people, Michaela and Elizabeth, saying they're not switching, right? So is this going to be another expense? Is the government going to hire people, maybe take the best person from one of these private companies and bring them over to operate it? Like, what's going to make it actually work and make sense? Nikki Smith kills.
The retailer struggles because of the duty that the couriers pay. It's the same rate that the local retail shops pay as wholesalers. Unfair to be able to pay that same rate when ordering online and bringing through in a courier. Agree. So it'll be interesting I just feel like government should be helping out local retailers in this time. They should not be creating a platform that's going to be direct competition. They should not be doing that. So I've seen lots of comments. So Kristen White had conversation about this. Kristen White owns Long Story Short in St. George's. Danielle Painter, she runs the NAB app. She's had conversation about this because she's been championing local businesses for the last year and a half plus. And the conversations were legit because it's like, you want us to spend money in Bermuda so that the money circulates in Bermuda, right? That's what we keep talking about. Spend your money locally so that, the small business owner that you're buying from can pay for their kids' football fees or school fees, whatever. But then how are we doing this about face and being like, actually, no, shop here. You know what I mean? So it's just like, what are we doing? So I feel like the only way that people would actually use this is if, there's a special lower duty rate or something, which would be a slap in the face to everyone else, really.
Yeah, these are interesting times, folks. This is an interesting conversation, and we have a lot of questions. Maybe we can get something sent. Maybe we can get a WhatsApp voice note from the minister, Wayne Ferbert, on this. Rachel Couture says, if they can provide a cheaper option, then I'm okay with that. No, I want better service too. I don't just.
But that's the thing. If they provide it cheaper, it's a slap in the face to the other couriers who can't provide it cheaper because they have to do things based on what government charges for duty and all of that.
Kathy Brumby says, all the post office is doing bringing bills, right? Which I need a hard copy of due to my site. Hey, look, that's all I look at the postman. I'm like, why are they stopping by today? Because honestly, my packages, they come through courier service. So when it's the postman, it's like, takes me back to that song. Who sang it? I'm the guy. Mr. Postman, stop bringing those bills to my house.
Oh yeah, I don't even look in my post box. Like I get my university's monthly magazine.
Yeah, I got subscriptions that I didn't even know I signed up for, like podcast equipment and stuff. Nicole Walker kills.
The online platform to pay your annual PO box fee barely works, so they definitely should fix what is broke before expanding. Thank you.
Terry
Thank
Case
you.
says government stays missing the mark. They literally should have created a focus group with local businesses. And then Teresa Ann Marie asks, then when can they go on strike? Ooh.
But this is what happens when you're like out of touch, right? This is what happens when you think you know and you don't.
Nachiko Trot says the post office is not even dealing bills as most people get them online. And this is true. Like, I mean, I get most of mine online. What I get is subscriptions and stuff. Charmaine Friday says they need to come up with come up to speed. Hello. And I'll just say this much. I know people have had issues with shipping in Bermuda, but I didn't know the issues were anything to do with what governments provide. And I thought the issues were to do with custom duty. And so my question was, what problem, and I guess some people have said a bit like the receipts and digital, but what problem, right? Because these are supposed to be solutions-based conversations. What problem is the government solving
with this?
Yeah, what problem are they solving?
Listen, anyone who's an entrepreneur knows the term ugly baby, right? So you come up with this amazing business idea and nobody wants it. It's like the ugly baby. This is what that is. No one asked for this. No, it's not providing a solution to anybody's problem. So this is why you get into business, right? This is why you create something as a solution to people's problems. No one asked for this. No one needs this. We just want you to be able to accept cards, accept digital invoices, not take 5 days to deliver a letter from St. George's to Somerset. No one asked for this. So it's not solving a problem, in my opinion.
Well, Terry Kay says the revenue problem. And so, you know, Mr. Furbett did say, he did, you know, this is part of government. Well, hold on, let me go back because I don't want to misquote. This
is the thing. I keep looking at it and I'm like, did I miss something that we've missed? Because I don't see it.
He said it was part of a plan to increase revenues through expansion of technology and e-commerce. And at the end of the day, as I stated, and I make no apologies for this, folks, but if this is what if this is the focus, and this is the first big way of creating revenue,
it's a problem.
It's a very shallow one too.
It's a problem.
This is very shallow. Nachiko Trot, the government is increasing its bottom line. That is all. This is to help the post office stay alive. It's one light system. Tamara Richardson, only a government can spend millions more to fix $1 million in the whole existing problem. Huge sigh. And I think her and Nachiko just said the same thing back to back. You know, it's almost like, name an industry or business that's gone out of business recently. Like, let's say Blockbuster.
Right? I was just about to say Blockbuster.
It's like Blockbuster. Instead of realizing that, you know, everything's going to streaming and people are no longer renting videos and so on, it's like, you know what? Let's throw $100 million at marketing, promoting. We're going to get people back. And it's like, no, people at the convenience of their home, they don't have to leave. They can just go online. This is what it seems like. And I feel like we can't necessarily just blame the elected officials, because I'm pretty sure there are people behind the scenes that help them with this stuff. This is sad and unfortunate. And I'll say this. Bermuda and Bermudians, you deserve better, because this cannot be
a solution.
This cannot be a solution.
Exactly.
And revenue problem.
And I think we have to also make it very clear. So the elected official, i.e. the MP, they're just like the face and the mouth of the ministry. Like, it's the PS who's doing the things, right? The directors, etc. So I don't think this is Wayne Furbett coming out like, this is a great, you know what I mean? Like, Wayne Furbett is reading the statement on behalf of the ministry, right? So I don't think this is a Wayne Furbett brainchild, you know what I mean? But if this is the solution to our problems, then yeah, we're gonna be in problems for a while, because I don't see how this is going to increase revenue. I just don't see it.
Well, folks, let's keep an eye on this. Let's see. Teresa Ann Marie says government wants to be an entrepreneur. I mean, if they do, I hope it's better than their politics. But let's bring Lee into the conversation. Lee doesn't come across as a post office person. She seems like a courier girl, right? Let's see what Lee is. She's a courier girl. I'm gonna go with DHL. Good morning, Lee. How are you?
Morning and ding 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 ding. I don't know.
DHL. Okay.
Yeah. I honestly, I'm shocked that people. And again, this is not no shade on anyone. Not trying to put anyone. I'm actually shocked that the post office still has use. And then I realized, no, Jamel, there are opportunities, times when you still need to go to a post office. Just because you don't have to do it, Jamel, doesn't mean nobody does. And like Kathy Brumby said, she still has to get her mail bills via text, post office mail because of her eyesight. So it exists, but can it exist in a way where it doesn't cost the people and you don't have to try to compete with other businesses? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I love the comments this morning. This is hilarious. I just know I'm not that person. I don't feel like chasing down the postman every day. I'm sorry. I'm not doing all of that. And the little ladder in the box and everything. Okay, cool. And no, it's just too much. It's too much. And I'm with you, Chaos. The customer service, it's just
a disaster.
Next time I'm in Bermuda, I'm actually gonna stop by the post office just to see what it's like. That's what I'm gonna do. It's gonna be a day trip for me. With her bright smile and happy personality, of course, she has to bring us all kinds of news. So over to you, my sister.
Thanks, Jamal and Michaela. Good morning to all of those who are tuned in with us today. I hope everyone is having a great start to their day. I'm Leanna Lambert, and it's time for our Daily Hour news break. In today's top stories, the government has announced the extremely sad news that there were 10 more coronavirus-related deaths over the weekend. The news brought the island's death toll to 62, with a total of 163 new cases. Minister Kim Wilson said that people with serious symptoms were putting off going to the hospital. And in this case, she says it can be too late, after noting that some people are unfortunately dying at home. The minister urges everyone, once you have tested positive, to please consult your doctor. She went on to say that some members of the public had attempted to treat themselves with home remedies they found on WhatsApp chat groups and through social media posts. However, she has warned that people should not be taking these substances without consulting with a qualified medical professional. Now, there are 63 people in hospital at the moment, 10 of them in intensive care. 5 of the new cases were in people with a history of travel in the past 14 days. We here at the Daily Hour, we extend our sincerest condolences to the family and friends of those loved ones. In other news, police have last night appealed to the public to help with the trace of 2 men in connection with a knife murder earlier this month. Now, Acting Detective Inspector Jason Smith said the 2 men were involved in this incident with Dwayne Gibbons, who was found stabbed on Blue Hole Hill in Hamilton Parish. The 2 men apparently have left the scene on a motorcycle and headed in a westerly direction along North Shore Road. They have also appealed for anyone who resides in the Kitties Lane, Hamilton Parish area, and as far as Shelley Bay along the North Shore Road, who may have CCTV cameras focused on the roadway, to get in contact with them. 57-year-old Mr. Gibbons from Warwick was found unconscious on Blue Hole Hill just before 2:30 a.m. on September 16th by a member of the public. Meanwhile, all students from P3 to P6 received Chrome laptops to help them with in-person and remote learning. The Ministry of Education said the devices given out 2 weeks ago were also distributed to P1 teachers, one at Elliott Primary School in Devonshire and another at Purvis Primary in Warwick. The generous donation was made by Hasso-Plattner Foundation, an international foundation focused on accelerating the adoption of digital technologies through science and education. Now, teachers and students had been offered professional development, Schoolology, a distant learning management system, and its blended learning program. Now, this is to help students shift away from the traditional classroom and begin to focus on how the technology can enhance their learning. Education Minister Diallo Rabane said necessary measures had been taken by the department's IT team to ensure appropriate use of the laptops by monitoring daily use of approved websites. Taking a look at today's weather, we have a high near 82 and a low near 74 degrees. It will be a cloudy start to the day with a chance of a stray shower, but we'll see a brighter afternoon. Now, the Bermuda Weather Service said that Hurricane Sam should be watched as it was for cautious optimism, and Sam was expected to move east of the island by early weekend. Now, Sam was downgraded from Category 4 to a Category 3 yesterday, but was expected to continue to move between a strong Category 3 and a Category 4. Now, as of 6 a.m. today, it was reported that Sam was about 1,245 miles to the southeast of Bermuda, moving northwest at about 9 miles per hour. It had maximum sustained winds at about 130 miles per hour with gusts of 160. Now, Sam's closest approach to Bermuda was inside 3 days and was expected to be about 460 miles to the south-southeast at 6 a.m. on Friday. That's all for our Daily Hour news break. Let's head back to Jamel and Michaela in the studio for today's Daily Focus.
Thanks so much, Lee. And just want to send some love and comfort to the family of Dwayne Richards and the Bermuda College family. Dwayne Richards, as you know, over the last year since we began this show, we've had Bermuda College reps on pretty often. We've had the president, Dr. Green. We've had Dr. Phyllis Curtis Tweed. We've had numerous people from Bermuda College, and he played an integral role in bringing Bermuda College on and trusting this platform. He'll be a huge miss, a very nice guy that Bermuda has lost. Also, as many it's been circulating, we lost another person, a young person, I consider very young, a very bright spark in Ronaldo Bean, another person that we've lost way too soon. So, comfort, love, condolences to everyone in the community impacted by these deaths and many more. So Lee, thank you so much for that. Again, I know it's not, news is something that you do report. It's not always things you want to report, but that's just the space that we're in. Appreciate it. And we will see you tomorrow.
See you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.
Bye, Lee.
Thanks so much to Leanna, bright spark, bright person, and bringing you the latest in the news break every day. Do not go anywhere. We have the information commissioner coming up, Gitanjali Gutierrez. I'm going to get her name right. You haven't put any pressure on me. Look, Michaela, folks, you guys know how Michaela is. If I say a name, I don't say it properly. She's all on my back. So I guess I'm doing very well this morning.
I'm going to just say real quick that I'm allowed to call her Gita. So there's that.
Okay, I'm going to ask her, can I call her Gita? All right, we're going to take a break and we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Nuco is a company impressively dedicated to the production of coconut concoctions. Their motto is coconuts for life, and however that resonates, it seems to have done the trick for vegan snack lovers. Nuco uses 3 ingredients in their wraps: pure organic and GMO-free coconut meat, coconut water, and unrefined virgin coconut oil. Nuco extols them as the all-natural alternative to bread and tortillas. This month we're featuring gluten-free Nuco organic coconut wraps in a 5-pack. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
Mom's celebrating her 70th birthday next month. Have you noticed her age is catching up with her?
Yeah. Plus, she's having a hard time getting up and around like she's used to. I would sure hate to see her fall.
At Medical House Limited, we can help make life situations easier. We have electric beds, motorized scooters, bath stools, walkers, you name it.
Mom's been real good to us. We'll get her birthday and Christmas gifts from Medical House.
Medical House has relocated next to the Dandytown Field, number 6 Bakery Lane, Pembroke. Telephone 292-3622.
Welcome back to the big show, Michaela Ian. I'm Jamel Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by Medical House One Communications and Lindo's. Without further ado, let's bring in our guest for the day. I don't have permission yet to call her Gita, so it's Gitanjali Gutierrez. Welcome to the show, Information Commissioner. How are you?
Thank you. Good morning. I'm well. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So can I have permission to call you Gita, please, madam?
On International Right to Know Day, yes, you can.
There you go. We're family. We're family now. We're family.
Yes.
But
Round two.
round two. But thank you so much for trusting this platform to have this conversation. And with so much going on in Bermuda, always apparently pandemic or not, I think that these kind of conversations can be very helpful for the entire population. But for those who don't know and maybe didn't see you on the show last time, what is the responsibility of the Information Commissioner's Office? Like, tell us a bit about your background as well.
So the Information Commissioner's Office was established in 2015 when the Public Access to Information Act came into effect, and that's the PATI Act. The PATI Act gives Bermudians and residents the right to ask any public authority for public records. So when they make that request, if they are not satisfied or they disagree with the response they get from the public authority, then they can work their way to the Information Commissioner, and my office will review the decision by the public authority. So essentially, we uphold the rights under the PATI Act. We educate Bermudians and residents about their rights and how to use them, and we give guidance to public authorities on how to meet their obligations. So it's a broad mandate for the office. What's also important is this is an independent public office. So similar to the Ombudsman or the Auditor General, I'm not subject to the direction of a minister or any other person. So my responsibility is my mandate is dictated by the PATI Act and the rights it sets out.
And real quickly, what is your background? Like, how did you come into the position?
So my background is actually litigating and being involved in cases involving PATI requests in the United States. There it's called a Freedom of Information Act. So I've been involved in access to information before I got this job for about 10 years. And that was part of larger human rights work that I did in the United States and a little bit in Europe.
Absolutely. So now that we know what the Information Commissioner's Office does, can you talk to us about what a Right to Know Day is?
Sure. So International Right to Know Day is celebrated by about 130 countries, and this is Bermuda's 7th celebration or recognition of International Right to Know Day. And it's when information commissioners, journalists, advocates, community groups, governments come together and they celebrate the right to know, the right for people to be informed about decisions that affect their lives and to get information from government and public authorities. So similar to the discussion that you were having earlier about decisions around the post office.
Very interesting. So tell us about the benefits of the PATI rights, because I don't think that a lot of people understand how it all works. I remember when the act came in, 7 years ago now, something like that. So what are the rights? What are the benefits?
So I'll tell you how to make a PATI request first, and then I can talk about the benefits of it. So making a PATI request should be very user-friendly. It's something that empowers Bermudians and residents. So there's only a few requirements. You figure out which public authority might have the record you're interested in. So let's take the discussion about the post office. You may want to know, what were the reasons? Was there a policy paper? Was there any consultation that was done with local businesses? So those were some of the topics that were talked about. You could go and you have to write it down. You can't just phone in a PATI request. So you would write down, I would like copies of consultation documents with local businesses on the decision to move to an online platform. And you give that to someone who's called an information officer in the post office. They will give you a response. And there's rules under the PATI Act that say that you, as a Bermudian or resident, have a right to that record unless there are reasons under the PATI Act, unless it fits under one of the reasons in the PATI Act that it can't be disclosed. So you get a response. If you agree with it, great. You have the information you need. You can move on to make decisions about your life or to write your MP and say you disagree with something. But if you disagree, you can ask the head of the authority to review the decision. So for a government department, that goes to the permanent secretary. They take a fresh look at it. If you disagree with the permanent secretary, then you can write my office and just send an email, is what most people do, and we will conduct a review. And at that point, we will ask for the records. We will look at the reasons that the public authority gave for not giving you the records. And if necessary, I'll issue a decision that orders disclosure of the records. So the PADI Act is free. You don't have to write anything formal. You don't have to use legalistic language. It's just simply you ask for a record, and the whole process is free. And public authorities also have a responsibility or a duty to assist you if you want to understand what records they hold and what you can ask for. And a record could be an email, a policy document, a memo, a photograph, a map, anything that records information. So this right has been in place since 2015. And what we're really, during these heavy times and challenging times, trying to celebrate actually something that Bermuda has built over the last 7 years. So Bermudians and residents have been making PADI requests and have been getting information through their actions, have been getting more information into the public. So we've seen disclosures around public sector salary ranges, public spending, the reasons that public decisions have been taken, quality of life and bread and butter issues. So we've seen all kinds of information about those topics put into the public for everyone to understand better why government and public authority does what it does, and what programs and services, how well they're being run.
That's fascinating, because I assume that it would have been a more, arduous process, if you will. So it's nice to know that it's pretty simple.
It's incredibly powerful. So one person can ask for salary ranges, and through that result in that being put out into the public, benefiting the entire public. So we've seen a very early PADI request resulted in the disclosure of salary ranges at the Bermuda Tourism Authority. And that was an entity that had gone from a government department to a quango. And so you could see what impact that had on salary ranges. Someone put in a PADI request for the Bermuda Hospitals Board, Executive Board, compensation ranges. And that's something that was disclosed. So one person can do that. One person put in a PADI request for the business review for options with SANS 360. And so that document is now in the public, and members of the SANS community, alumni, people interested in the history of Bermuda can see that business review and understand what factors went into play around decisions on purchasing that, and what the options were or are for dealing with that property.
That's incredible. So are you dealing with members of the public mainly? Is it more so the media, or is it like a mix?
It's absolutely a mix. So one of the interesting things about the PADI Act is the general public, what you hear about the PADI Act is often what is in the media, and it can lead to an impression that that's what the PADI Act is about. And what we found, we did a survey of the first 5 years of the work of our office, and we found that 50% of the cases that came to the Information Commissioner were from members of the media. 50% of the cases were from just members of the public, asking for records that were impacting their business, their efforts to get government contracts, things about their kids' education, their pension records, their employment, things affecting their employment. So half of our cases were from regular people.
That's incredible. And I love how you said that it could just take one person, to create this ripple effect so that people actually know what's going on. That's just, it's so empowering to me. So I know that you guys have a video series happening this week. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Sure. So we really wanted to highlight the PADI Act in action. So we've taken 4 different types of information and done short videos on what we've learned. What do you know now? Because people have made PADI requests, or because of the PADI Act. So we have one talking about public sector salaries. We have another one talking about public decision making and disclosures that have happened, like the SANS 360 business review, the schedules to the airport contract for redevelopment that let people know more about the decision made around that. We have a video talking about disclosures dealing with quality of life and the bread and butter issues. And that includes things like the publication now of daycare and childcare licensing records. So if you're looking for a place to put your child or your godchild, and this is really, in my view, some of Bermuda's most vulnerable population. You're talking about very young children. And if you were looking for a place prior to the PADI Act, you may not know whether it's licensed or not. And now that information has been put out because of a PADI request and is published. Restaurant inspection ratings, those grades are now available. So things that have affected our quality of life. Another great example is if you are concerned about patient safety or the quality of care at the hospital. As a result of a PADI request, BHB now automatically publishes on a quarterly basis information about patient safety data. And so you can go on their quality and patient satisfaction webpage of the hospital board website, and you can see each quarter information that they publish about quality and safety data.
Wow. I'm just so amazed by all of this, because I didn't realize that the restaurant grading was something that came out of this, and that's something that I love to see so that I can know where to eat and where. So,
Michaela, hold on. No, I'm about to question on that. So, New York City, right? They have the grades on the windows and before you go in a restaurant. If it's not an A, are you going to that restaurant, Michaela?
I will accept up to a B. That's it. I will not go lower than a B.
But I want people to understand how important that is, and to know that it's your office that is responsible for that. There are people like that's huge in a city like New York, right? Go ahead.
Not my office. So let me be clear. And I think this is probably one of the most important things to get across today. People think that as information commissioner, I'm making the PADI requests.
No.
I enforce the PADI Act. Every single one of these is a result of a Bermudian or a resident who wants to be informed, included, engaged. They are the ones who are making the PADI requests that have this impact. And that's where it's incredibly empowering.
Yeah. But to have that outlet, I mean, I think it's incredible. And again, that's why I think conversations like this are important, because people just don't know that they have that power to do these things. I want to go back to the BTA though, because you did mention, and I was excited when that happened, by the way. But I remember when it happened, the ranges. Now, who determines what range they're going to put out, whether it's a 20,000 or 5,000 or 10,000? Like who determines that? Because if it's a range between say 80,000 and 110, that's a huge range. Like what would be the normal range we should be expecting?
So in that decision and in a few others that we've had around salary ranges, there's a pretty international standard of around a $10,000 salary range. So in many jurisdictions, you'll see that as a range that doesn't intrude upon an individual's privacy too much who may hold that post, but gives the public a sense of where public money is going and whether salary ranges are being set within industry standards or in a fair way.
Indeed.
And you'll see that with government public officer salaries. So the PADI Act also requires certain information to just be put out there automatically. And one of those things are the salary ranges for all government posts. So you can go on gov.bm and look up government officer salary listing, and you can see the salary range from everyone from the cabinet secretary to a police cadet to a mechanic at DPT. All it's pages and pages long, and you can see those salary ranges.
Good stuff. I think that's important. If you have any questions or comments for the information commissioner, we'll get to them. Kathy Brumby, she's asking, can it be historical information?
So the PADI Act applies to any record that is held by a public authority. So record recorded in any way information is recorded, and it applies to all public authorities. You can go to ico.bm and see lists of the public authorities. And so they do apply. The PADI Act does apply to historical records. And there's an interesting provision in the PADI Act that if a record is more than 30 years old, some of those reasons in the PADI Act to deny disclosure can't be used. So it's actually for historians or Bermudians who may be overseas studying public policy. It's a great way to get historical information.
Indeed. Rosalind Famous, she's asking, is there a relationship between your office and the Department of Statistics?
There is not. So the Information Commissioner's Office is, again, an independent public office. We are required under the PADI Act to collect statistics about the number of PADI requests made, what happens to them. We publish our own statistics about our work, but we don't have any direct relationship with the Department of Statistics. Okay. We encourage public authorities to put information out there, and we do that with any public authority that we see is getting a request for the same information over and over. We will encourage them to make that information just automatically available.
Okay. And one more time before we wrap it up. So let's say, I'm not going to say me, I'll use Michaela. She used to be a reporter. If she wanted to file a PADI request, right? Let's say for government spending during the pandemic, what does the process look like in layman terms?
So if you wanted to find out how much, let's say the Department of Health has spent on testing for COVID during a certain period of time, you could use the form on the government website. There's a little PADI in the bottom corner, a little PADI tab, and the form pops up, and you could say, I'd like to know how much was spent on testing kits in 2020 by the Department of Health. And you give that to an information officer, and their name is, you can get that name from our website. You can call our office and we'll give you where to send that in. They'll confirm that Michaela is Bermudian if they don't know that already. And you wait 6 weeks and you're going to get a letter back. It might come usually it comes by email, and it will give you perhaps invoices, maybe expense reports or information from the government's accounting system telling you how much was spent on those tests. Mm-hmm. And in fact, if what you just wanted to know were quarterly expenses, you can just ask for those and they're automatically given to you. Wow. So you can go into any public authority today, tomorrow, and you can ask to see the quarterly expenditures. And it might take a few minutes to print it off, or maybe they'll have to email it to you, in a few days, but you automatically get that.
And so since we were talking about the post office earlier today, right? If I just, Joe Public, wanted to get a PADI request to see how the decision was made, I can come and go on the website, write something and say, I would like more information of how this decision was made and how, is that something that it reflects?
Yes.
Oh, really? Okay. It's that easy, folks. So
look, it's that easy. All of those questions you see on Twitter, Facebook, those are often, instead of writing them on Twitter, instead of writing them on Facebook, if you would write them to the public authority, you actually are entitled to a response.
Commissioner, I don't know if you know what you just did. No,
this is incredible.
Blow up. But
it really levels the playing field. So when you're sitting across someone, across the desk, the person on the other side, you may ask for information that's going to impact your business, impact where you send your kid to school, impact school closures. And you may ask them for the record or for the information, and they'll say, no. But and there's a real imbalance of power there. But if you say, do I have to make a PADI request for that? They're reminded that they hold those records in trust for the public. This is public information, public records. Wow. And so then you're now engaged in a discussion. You're engaged in a relationship where the playing field is leveled between the person who holds those records and the person who they're held on behalf of.
That's fascinating. So I just have a really quick one. When people do put in PADI requests, where are they published? Are they automatically published in the media? Is it just on the website?
So when someone puts in a PADI request, their identity is held confidentially. So the request itself is never published. Each public authority has a log of the PADI request that they've received that doesn't have the requester's name, but has what's been asked. And when the information is disclosed, it's sent to the requester, but it can be shared with the world. It's a disclosure to the world. So you can also look at the log and see if there's anything that you would like a copy of.
Fascinating.
Miriam Simmons is asking, is this limited to Bermudians only?
So the rights under the PADI Act extend to Bermudians and residents. So Bermudians, wherever you are in the world, and residents who are resident in Bermuda. A lot of countries have universal access to records. Ours is limited. The right is limited to Bermudians and residents. But if, say, someone used to work in Bermuda, a non-Bermudian, and they've moved overseas, they might ask for a record. They wouldn't have a right under a PADI Act, but a public authority could decide to give them a record just because the PADI Act is promoting more openness, accountability, and transparency with government and public services.
Alrighty. And one last question, Renee Charlene Simmons. Can you request a PADI request on a private company registered in Bermuda?
So private companies are not subject to the PADI Act in and of themselves. But if a private company bids on a government contract, their bid may be subject to disclosure minus some commercial information. But you'll see now the procurement process is very open. It leads to better value for money, leads to fewer conflicts of interest, that kind of thing. So private companies standing alone aren't subject to the PADI Act, but when they start to engage with government or public authorities, their information can be subject to a PADI request.
All right. One last question. I know I said last one last time.
That's good. Just thinking.
Tamika Pacheco says, how often do PADI officers have to update their records? Like, is it annually or?
So the records are anything a public authority holds. There's not a set of PADI records. So if you think about an office, it's the hard copy files, it's everything on a computer, it's emails. So the records you can ask for are anything that a public authority holds or has over in a storage area or a storage company. So those records that you can ask for are all of them. For the reporting statistics to the ICO or to the Information Commissioner happens once a year. So I table an annual report every year that gives information about the number of PADI requests made. We try and highlight the decisions that have come out from the Information Commissioner. So hopefully that answers the question.
All righty. And before you go, just remind people, Right to Know Day, what's the focus? How can they get more information?
So you can go to the ICO Facebook page, the ICO website. You can learn more about International Right to Know Day. Over the course of this week, we'll be releasing videos about the impact of the PADI Act and for Bermuda, what you know now as a result of PADI disclosures. That's what we're celebrating today and for the rest of the week.
Thank you so much. Honestly, I appreciate it. And the audience is always receiving it well when these kind of conversations happen. So thank you to your office for trusting us to have these kinds of conversations and engage the audience. Please know, and I haven't said this in a long time, no offense to anyone who's recently been on, but the door is open should you want to return and share some information.
Great. Thank you so much. And we appreciate it. And your show's wonderfully engaging in getting people to think about all of these issues in Bermuda. So thank you for your work too.
Thank you. Have a great one.
Thank you so much.
You too.
All right. Gitanjali Gutierrez, the Information Commissioner of Bermuda. Thanks again to her office for trusting our platform. Folks, if you appreciated that conversation, found it helpful, make sure you give us a thumbs up, a love, a like, and please do share these kinds of conversations because as she stated, people are on Facebook, people are on Twitter. Those same tweets and Facebook posts, send them to the Information Commissioner's office. They can get you the information you seek. So let's make use of the office that's there to assist us in these times. We have to take a quick break. And then after we do the daily play, or before we do it, I just want to get some insight from Michaela on this R. Kelly. Was it conviction? Just not sentencing yet, just conviction. Right?
Conviction. Put him under the jail. Put him under the jail.
Not yet. We'll be right back.
Okay.
Just ready to meet. We'll be right back.
Same smooth sounds, different name. BCG Radio, home of Bermuda's most engaging morning talk shows, The Daily Hour and Good Day Bermuda. Download the app, available for Android and Apple devices. BCG Radio, your station for conversations and entertainment.
All right. Thanks again to the Information Commissioner, Gitanjali Gutierrez, for joining us for such an important conversation. Thanks again to Medical House One Communications and Linders for, making sure we're able to do this for you on a daily basis and bring you these kinds of conversations. And I am glad that you found it very informative, James Burgess, Lisa Ann Marie, Kimberly Jackson. We appreciate you. Michelle White. Thank you. It looks like we have a birthday in the audience. Carla John, who says all the way under the jail. We'll get to R. Kelly. It looks like it's your birthday, according to Nicole Walker. Don't be.
Yes.
You know what
I told you first. Did you not see my message that said it's Carla John's birthday? No, you didn't see that message?
No, I didn't. And you know what? You know what hurts me about that? She probably didn't want to tell us because she's having a party and didn't invite us. But that's okay, Kills. That's okay. Listen,
it's Carla John's birthday. Shout out to Carla. It's my boy Lonnie's birthday. Shout out to Lonnie.
Birthday, Lonnie, Carla. Anybody
Yes.
else?
Oh, my coworker Afton. It's her birthday too.
Hey, worker Afton. Well, look, you're lucky. I'm saying happy birthday to any of you because you ain't invite me to your party.
Actually, I'm about to hit up Lonnie, be like, hello. Hello.
No, for real, happy birthday to you all. Wishing you all a great birthday and your best year yet. More health, more life.
Yes.
Look, it's daily playtime. Let's get to it, folks. We've got it today. We've got it. Time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Heineken 0.0. Great taste, no alcohol. Michaela, are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm gonna just listen. 2 out of 2. Let's go.
It's the most random of questions, folks. It's a remember when. Here we go. What year did the Wyndham Hotel on the old Sonesta property, where Hamilton Princess Beach Club, close?
2008. 2007. It wasn't 2006. Wait, 2006. Yes. I'm trying to remember the last time I went there. And the last time I remember going there, it just hit me. It was like New Year's Eve, 2005. I thought it was 2006. That's why I said 2007. So yeah.
Yeah, we have a lot of 2004s in the audience. No,
yeah.
It wasn't 2004.
2006.
2006. And
yeah.
No one beat Michaela to it. Yes, it was October of 2006. So we're going to give it to her. She didn't strike out. She got it on the third try, folks. After three is struck out.
After 3 is over. No, I agree with that. I feel like after 3 is over.
Yeah, she got, and nobody got it before you. But the Wyndham Hotel, where the old Sonesta was, now home of the Hamilton Princess Beach Club, did close down in 2006 in Bermuda. So we'll give her 2 for 2, folks. We'll give it to her.
You know what it is? It's because I remember the club was called Bubbles, and I was like, how old was I when I was going there? Was it after I graduated university? Was it before? Like, this is what's going on in my mind, right? As I'm trying to figure it out.
Probably breaking it. Oh, is it Carla's 50th? Ooh,
it is her 50th.
Happy
yes.
50th. That's a big part. So we know she's having a party and didn't invite us. Carla, show Carla some love in the audience, folks. She honestly, I always call her, I don't know if she likes me saying this, but she's our HR resident expert. She comes on the show when she can. But Kales, let's wrap up the show. What are your thoughts on today's episode?
This is a great episode. I love the post office conversation because it's like, yeah, that's a miss for me. And it's a miss for most people. I loved having the conversation with the information commissioner. It was just so enlightening, so fascinating. I didn't realize that the process was as simple as she explained it out to be. So I would just encourage people, if you have these questions, know that you can get an answer to them. And it's very simple for you to do it. You don't have to just sit here and complain on Magicus or Twitter. Like, submit a request. Get the information.
Indeed. I appreciated both conversations. Definitely the post office. I'm always looking at what's the solution. And if the solution is to generate more revenue for government, well, if the government generates more revenue, then what does it do to the jobs for people in other spaces and so on? So I think we need to be very careful when how we approach that. In reference to the Information Commission, I second everything you said, Michaela, is some of the things we're looking for right before us. Let's use the Information Commissioner's office. Let's get in contact. Let's find out the information. Let's get the facts, right? Let's get the facts. They have the information that we're looking for. Real quickly, your quick opinion in 30 seconds or less on the verdict of R. Kelly.
20 years overdue. I'm glad that his victims finally got justice. Put him under the jail. Put him under the jail. He is a nasty man. And it's so frustrating for me because those who know me, my nickname is Kales, and Americans say Kels, and it's just like R. Kelly's nickname. And under the jail.
I'll say this much. I'm shocked that there are people still out there publicly defending him. But what I
listen,
folks, seriously, regardless of how you feel, he broke the law. He broke a very nasty law. When you do that, and I speak about this often, when you do things like that, guess what? There are consequences. So sentencing will be, looks like May 2022, I think I heard. I'll be keeping my eyes on that. Because I want to see if he gets the same treatment as those who have been convicted of similar offenses. Any daily inspiration before we head off, Kales?
I have daily inspiration, and just before I say it, and stop playing his music. And if you're a DJ at a function and I come up to you and you're playing R. Kelly music, don't brush me off. Stop playing his music. Thank you.
You heard him.
He was writing those songs about little girls. Hello.
She gave you the finger too, folks. She is serious.
It infuriates me. Anyways, so this quote is from Princess Diana. Carry out a random act of kindness with no expectation of reward, safe in the knowledge that one day someone might do the same for you.
Indeed. Like that one. I like that one. Well, again, happy birthday to Carla John. Everyone's got, look, some people were trying to keep your age a secret, but happy birthday.
Well, she put it on Facebook. She did a little side by side.
Michaela says, she said,
hello, under the jail.
Folks, thanks again to our partners, Medical House, One Communications, and Lenders for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. She is Michaela N. I'm Jamel Hartman. My friends, please do make it a great day. Peace.